What's up, everybody? Welcome to the House of Mario, the South Australian Nintendo podcast that is backed by 120 Power Star rating. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, and the doors to episode 144 are open. Joining me on the show this week for twice in a row, holy shit, it's a record for him, it's Bryce DeWitt.
A record? That's a bit fucking rude now.
See, what I like to do each time is think of something just to stir you up, and it works.
Yeah, but usually
90% of the time.
Usually it's something like sort of nice, like the beautiful BLT or some shit like that. But now you're just being, snarky.
Hey, I've got to get some of my rage out for you leaving me for
a virus.
Yeah, I was very jealous of that virus, actually. Taking Bryce DeWitt away from me. And an actual guest, it's Seamus Mullins. How you going, man?
Yeah, I'm good. Glad to be returning for now the third time. Oh, it's probably maybe more than that now.
I think this is the third time.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. I just want to say, when the intro's happening, I just really want to join Mario and going, Yahoo!
Woohoo!
But I really withheld myself.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, you can have a go. There you go.
Here we go! Here we go!
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
All right, Bryce.
Whoa.
So we've got a bit more of a serious matter I just want to address before we jump into the show.
Yep. A couple things to address, actually, including the one that we...
Yeah.
So first off, there's a lot of political, happenings going on in the world right now after the death of George Floyd. It's very tragic, and people are starting to sort of come to their own and rise up and trying to do something about the police brutality in America, and we're seeing some of it over here as well, with people attending a rally for Aboriginal people as well, in Adelaide and Melbourne, I believe. So I guess I just want to address that, everything going on in the world right now, whether it be coronavirus or the death of George Floyd and stuff like that, it's all absolute chaos. But in the terms of standing with George Floyd, we do. Mm-hmm. And we hope that even through these riots, even though, they're seeing a lot of loss of small business owners and, people getting hurt, that something positive will come out of it, and hopefully we'll see change. It's very important. Police brutality has been a common thing across history, I suppose. And something really does need to change, especially for the black people of America, or even the Aboriginal people from here. The statistic is like 2% population of Aboriginal people here now, with a 28% prison time statistic. And there's a lot of Aboriginal people here that have died in imprisonment due to ill treatment and such. And it's very much the same in America. So it's a huge deal. There's many places that you can, there's many ways rather that you can support the cause, whether it be through donation or even just speaking out and being in support of change. So I guess I just wanted to let everybody know that we stand with it. It's obviously a very hard time. But something does need to change, and it needs to change sooner rather than later. It should have changed ages ago. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Well said.
Yeah. So it's been a pretty crazy time with Apple podcast reviews lately. So we said a couple of weeks ago that we charted in the Apple podcast charts for Denmark. Then we got a review from one of our listeners, Jacob. And then later that week, I don't know how and I don't know why, but somehow we managed to get to number 1 on the Denmark podcast charts, which was just absolutely incredible. And since then, we've actually got some more reviews from people in Denmark. So this is a review from also Denmark, and it's titled Another Message from Denmark. And they say, Daniel shared your podcast on a Danish Nintendo Facebook fan site. I've listened to the podcast for non-stop. Listen to this listen to this podcast is going to be a regular thing for me from now on. You guys are exactly what I've been searching for. So thank you very much for that review. And we got another one titled Chiming In With the Danes. So my morning commute will be significantly improved from here on out. Thanks for the show. So it's just been incredible because, we're such a small podcast, just recording it in our spare bedroom type of thing. And to get to number one of anything, let alone a chart on Apple Podcasts, is just incredible. So thank you to all of our listeners in Denmark. It's absolutely incredible we could get there.
And a special thank you to Daniel Jacobson for actually sharing us in a Danish Nintendo group. And really, really pushing the note. It was, eye-opening to see that happen this week unfold. When we talked about it, we were sort of like thinking, we don't really get we get a decent chart rating for Australia, but we've just absolutely smashed it in a country we're nowhere near close to, which we never really thought that would happen.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you'd like to leave us an Apple Podcast review, it definitely helps. And if you're not on Apple Podcasts or anything, you can follow a link. I don't know the exact link, but I think it's the House of Mario Simplecasts. And that will be changed to just thehouseofmario.com. And if you go down the left, you can go to Recast. And through that, you can actually take clips out of any episode of the podcast and download them or share them to social media. So that really helps just share the word and get the podcast out there to anyone who might be interested in listening to it.
Yeah, if you've got your favourite moment on the show and you want to take a snapshot of it and share it to Twitter, you can do that. Yeah, and it's awesome. Yeah.
So let's jump into some discussion, guys. So Xenoblade Chronicles came out, I guess last Friday. Unfortunately, we have not got an opportunity to play it yet, which is a bit of a shame since it's one of Nintendo's big releases, I guess, since Animal Crossing, since it's a pretty scarce year.
Yeah.
But you've got it in the mail. I had a busy weekend. Seamus, are you interested in Xenoblade at all, or given it a pass?
I am actually. It looks like something I'd be really into. And it came out on the Wii originally. Yes, it did. Yeah, and I never had a Wii. And then did it get brought? I don't think it came to Wii U, but it was on the 3DS.
Yeah, it's on the 3DS.
Yeah, and I actually bought a copy for my 3DS when I had one before I traded that in for a Nintendo Switch. The shame, but worth it.
Not really. Got to make your money work for you, man.
That's
and the thing is, because it's like a big open world third person action RPG, you kind of need two dual sticks for it. And I had the 3DS new, so it had that tiny little
the nub.
The nub, yeah. And I tried it with another game from memory, and I just knew I wasn't going to have a good time playing Xenoblade with it, so I never actually did.
Yep.
So to see it remastered for Switch is really cool. I'm pretty interested to check it out. However, I did watch the trailer for it, and personally, the English voice acting really put me off. I just did not like it at all. And it's personal opinion. It's not saying it's bad necessarily, but I was just like. So I'm hoping that you can just play it in Japanese voice acting.
I'm not sure you can, but I will tell you as somebody that went back and played the first one before the second one came out, it does seem jarring at first, but one, it grows on you, and two, the English voice acting in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is worse, but that is not because of the voice actors, it's because they had very little direction on what they were going about. But the English voice cast does actually very much grow on you as you go further into that game. It feels weird playing a Japanese RPG with an English voice cast, but it does work all the way up until the end. It gets very good. The other thing is that on the Wii, it's actually very hard to obtain here, and the most accessible place before this was probably the 3DS. Because when it was originally released, it was Japanese exclusive, and then people banded together and tried to get a petition going called Operation Rainfall to get the last 3 JRPGs released on the Wii in Japan to West Side, and that was Pandora's Tower, Last Story, and Xenoblade Chronicles. They brought all 3 of them out, but they were all very limited run.
Right.
So they were very hard to get a hold of. And then past that, the only other place to get it, apart from the 3DS and Wii, was the Wii U eShop, which, as we know, the Wii U sold like crap. So not many people knew that. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just for the voice acting, it was pretty divisive back in the day. Like it stood out to a lot of people. So yeah, I don't mind it from what I've heard. So I'll jump into it. But
it's jarring, but it gets better.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know.
I really, really, really enjoyed that game. I played, as I've mentioned before, I played it on emulator because it was really hard to find anywhere else. But I really wanted to play it. And I would have thought that it would have bothered me much more than it did, but by the end of it, I was happy with it. And Shulk having an English voice and just about every other cameo appearance he's made, including Smash Brothers, is now iconic for him.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, yeah.
Which, you know, if Shulk were any other way, I feel like it just wouldn't be as good. Yeah. It's really a part of his character now, and everybody gets I'm really feeling it, and you know.
Yeah, because since I'm yet to play through it, like this edition is pretty much perfect chance for me to jump into it. But when I'm like watching gameplay, I'm like, oh, that music's from Smash Bros, or that bit's from Smash Bros. It's like a lot of the other characters, like the Earthbound characters, or whatever. It's like, oh, that's where that little Easter egg or whatever comes from. Yeah. So at the moment, the game's sitting at an 89 on Metacritic. So it seems like it's regarded quite well.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But I'm just looking, before it was launched, it was a little bit worrying because information was coming out that it was running at like a super low resolution. I think it was like 720 in docked and basically under HD in handheld mode. So there's an article from Nintendo Life which basically breaks down what Digital Foundry found. So the article is, it says now we're just hours away from Xenoblade Chronicles Edition, but it's out now. So they gave it a 9 out of 10. It seems to align perfectly with other outlets, and it sits at an 89 on Metacritic at the moment. But an early tech analysis left some fans a little bit concerned about the game's performance. As always, it's time to pass things over to the technical wizards at Digital Foundry. The team has put together new Xenoblade re-release through its paces to see exactly what's going on under the hood. The video below, Digital Foundry notes that the internal report was indeed correct. Just like Xenoblade Chronicles 2, the game maxes out at 720p when docked and can drop down to 540 and sits between 540 and 378p in handheld mode. Very a specific thing.
Yeah.
And that sort of put me off of it a bit. Like I said, I haven't played it yet on Switch, but that seems like a super low resolution.
Yeah, that's a little disappointing.
It was a really big problem with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and to be honest, it makes it an absolute bitch to play on the light. Like, really, you the screen being a little bit smaller on the light probably diminishes it a little bit, but the fact that you can't like put it in a dock and play it on a TV makes it so much worse. And like, I went and played through 2 anyway like that. I played 160 hours of 2. So, you know, I can say pretty well that I dealt with it, and it did suck, but you know, the time that I spent playing it on the TV, it looked great. And you know, a lot of people sort of had criticized the first trailer when it came out because they're like, oh no, you made it look more anime. Now I'm not interested. And everybody's just like, bitch, you're playing a JRPG.
Yeah.
Please just give me a fucking break, because that game looks gorgeous now. Like, if you go back to the Wii now, yeah, sure, it doesn't look as anime, but it also looks very old.
Yeah.
Because they really tried to push the technical limits for that game on the Wii. And to a degree, they've had to do so on the Switch now with all the graphical upgrades. Because the areas are large, the world is very beautiful. But something that Monolith has always very much prioritized is scale and, you know, some nice textures over than just making everything sort of run at its absolute best. They want the world to look like really fulfilling, beautiful, huge. You know, their work on Breath of the Wild, that was the same way. So, yeah, it is disappointing, but yeah, I've come to expect it from Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah. Here it does say that it looks better than Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in handheld mode, but yeah, that's up for, I guess, debate just when we actually get to play it.
Well, I would argue that the areas in Xenoblade Chronicles 1, Jesus, I can't talk tonight. Xenoblade Chronicles 1 are bigger than the ones in Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Right.
So, you know, for them to step up and say, you know, oh, well, it's running better than 2, that's still an improvement because the areas in 1 are bigger than what they are in 2.
Right. Yeah. That is a little disappointing to hear for me because I'm one of these people that play like 95% of the time in handheld mode just because I just love that. I love playing in bed and on the couch and in various weird positions. And so handheld just works for me. Yeah. But I guess an important thing and I sort of forget sometimes is, you know, the wonder of the Switch is that, you know, you can just dock it and play on the TV as well as it being an awesome handheld companion console. And in situations like this, which is like kind of a AAA RPG open world game, it's kind of like it's going to look best on TV anyway.
Yeah.
And then you want to experience those beautiful environments on the big TV regardless. So it makes sense to play it on TV, and that's probably where I would end up spending a lot of my time playing it. So it's good to know that, you know,
It'll still run better
run-
than the
yeah.
3DS copy I own, trust me.
yeah. So can't complain too much. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I can see myself playing this 90% in handheld mode. So when I get my hands on it, we'll see if it puts me off or not. Probably not because, you know, I played 3DS and all that back in the day. So, you know, it's not going to be too much of a stretch. But you guys out there who have played the game already over the weekend, you will have a lot better idea than us because we're yet to play it.
Yeah, we'll get there though.
Blame the postal service for Bryce and
yes, it's supposed to be
blame
coming
life
tomorrow
for me.
and nobody's going to be home. I hate it.
it's funny because you're actually going down to where the shops are anyway, but you got to miss the postman so you won't get your copy.
I'm thinking about hitting the option that says leave in a safe place on my thing.
Yeah.
You know,
It's like it's a game. It's not like it's leaving like a computer or something.
no.
So shouldn't be too bad.
And then Drew's just outside Bryce's house all of tomorrow just waiting.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. I'll save myself $80 and I'll just go around to Bryce's and get it for free.
No, shut up. No.
I'll be like, did you get your copy, mate? It's like, no, oh, that's a shame.
That's a shame. I've been loving mine. Oh.
Yeah, it's great. So, Drew, did you buy a physical? Yeah, I ended up deciding to buy a physical. A bit cheaper. It was on special. A bit closer as well. Didn't have to drive half an hour. It was only actually a 5-minute drive to your place. I mean, the shop.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
So, guys, been playing anything interesting over the last week or so, or year? I don't know. I guess I can start first. I've just been playing Pokemon Go still. Got pretty obsessed with that over the May, where they've been holding all the events each month. That's sort of finished now, so I've been more relaxed on it. But really enjoyed all the research over the last 4 weeks. They did basically different research tasks, Seamus. So each week you complete it and you get a legendary and you get items and that from it. And if you complete all of them in a week or so, you get access to an exclusive one you only get if you finish all of them.
Or buy a pass.
I think it's $8 American for that pass. So I guess you get some exclusive stuff too if you actually complete it rather than just buy it.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah. So I just been doing that, and I added a heap of friends. I put out my friend code for Pokemon Go on Twitter, and just like literally 60-something people added me, just like random people. People must just follow the Pokemon Go hashtag just to add friends so they can exchange gifts. So I'm exchanging gifts like crazy, and that seems like a really good way to get experience points as well.
So what are the things that you can do with friends online then through Pokemon Go?
Basically, what you can do stuff if you're local, but a lot of them are. I got a lot of them are from Japan and stuff like that. So I'll assume I'll never see them to trade my Growler for something. But basically, you just exchange gifts and you can get items through that. And at the moment, because of coronavirus and people being stuck inside, they're allowing a lot more items to come from those gifts. So I'm just like in Pokeball heaven. Like usually it's like quite hard to accumulate heaps, but I'm actually deleting Pokeballs to make room to open more gifts. Like it's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, finished all that and looking forward to I think it's Genesect in the next one. It's Unova themed, I think, for the 5th generation. So yeah, looking forward to that. I don't really have much to say. I just sort of been, I go to the shops, I pick up Pokemon Go, I do that, and been playing a bit at home just for the changes they made as well.
Yeah. Well, if you go on Drew's Twitter, which is iDrewby, you can see him posting about it very often. Right. Well, recently.
Well, there was a week there where I was just getting shiny after shiny, and You can't help but a bit of a shiny flex,
brag,
bit of a flex every now and then. Hey boys, look at this Pikachu I found. It's a bit darker colour. How do you like that? Oh. And everyone's like, oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Hit that heart button, retweet, get it circulating. Let's go. It is funny with that Pikachu though. It was a shiny Pikachu, but it had an Umbreon hat because it was themed for the Johto week. So it had a Umbreon because it was the most popular Johto Pokemon.
Does that make it more rare or?
Makes it very rare, Seamus.
Oh wow!
You won't be able to get one ever again unless they accidentally flip the wrong switch at Niantic and
Delete everything.
Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't do that. All right, Seamus, what about you, man?
I've started to finally slow down a bit on Animal Crossing. I've become a bit burnt out on the turnip stock market, and I've just gone to a point where to actually do things beyond just basic chores and stuff like renovating my island properly or doing stuff in my villages. I just know it's going to take a lot of time, and I feel like I just need maybe a little bit of a break and just to come back to it because I've played like just over 100 hours of Animal Crossing, which like reflecting on, I'm like, oh yeah, I can see how I easily did that over the last couple of months because it's the main thing I've been playing. But on reflection, like that's a lot of time.
Oh, damn straight that is.
In one game, especially in Animal Crossing, when you mainly just run around on the same patch of island, talking to the same villagers every single day.
Yeah.
So I've slowed down on that, and now I've recently started Valkyria Chronicles, the original one, for the first time. It came out originally on the PS3 from memory and was an exclusive there.
Yeah, it was.
For a period of time. Yeah, because I remember a lot of people talking it up and a lot of like best of PlayStation 3 game lists and stuff for a while. But now it's just on everything. It's on PC, on Steam, and now on Switch. And I've seen a few friends streaming it and playing it recently, and I've always been interested in it. I'm a big strategy game fan, and I finally just got pushed over the edge over the past week or so and just decided to just jump in, and I'm really loving it. I'm really, really enjoying it. It's funny, I've recently seen and played a few Japanese games, and I've just been taken aback a bit by just how crazy the tone is. Often this, like, so one example is Yakuza, another example is Valkyria Chronicles, often dealing with pretty serious tones, like Yakuza killing each other or like a war and racism in Valkyria Chronicles, but it's very much always offset by, look, we found the pig when we're off to a battle, and the pig's mother died, so we'll just adopt it now, and it's very cute. And it's like you go into this battle and if any of your soldiers die of your squad, like they're dead for good, like it's permadeath. And so it's somewhat like XCOM, so you get very attached to your characters, and they have their own stories and interactions with each other, and they like different members of your team and have a tribute, so you could grow pretty close to them. So, it'd be pretty heartbreaking if any of them died. Fingers crossed none of mine have yet.
Are you the type of person that will reset it if one does die, or you just let it go? Depends who they are, I guess.
Yeah, and it depends how cheap it is, like how cheap the death is. If it's like I just make a really dumb move, I'll just be kind of like, I'll just feel, I'm probably gonna fail anyway, and just reset something like that. But I haven't done that so far, so we'll see. But after murdering dozens of people from the evil Nazi empire, they're pretty much Nazis. It's just like, good work, team. Good work, pig. Being part of the squad now, it's like, yay! And it's like, and it's like it's the same with Yakuza. Like the side missions in those games are just all over the place, but it just works. Like it just, and I think it's actually really good way to balance it out, because otherwise those serious tones could probably just get a bit too much. And it's made me reflect a little bit more on Western games recently, which often the tone is generally like pretty consistent and pretty serious for the most part. If you're playing a Call of Duty game, it's pretty full on for the most part, and just death, action. And reflecting on that, it's like, yeah, that's actually kind of like a lot. And
could you imagine a Call of Duty game like you're doing your thing, but then there's a cutscene, and like this one soldier comes up to you, I found a pig!
I found a pig with wings, in fact.
A pig.
So yeah, it's been good. The strategy side of it is really fun. It's just like pretty much just like a puzzle. You just have to figure out the best way to solve it. The ranking is really challenging. Like it's like the first couple, I was like, oh yeah, I did that pretty well. It's like D, and I'm like, it's the first mission, man. Like I'm learning the mechanics. It's like, get good. Like you're just not good enough. But I actually almost want to replay them to get better scores, because I just enjoy the the sort of turn-based nature of it and the puzzle solving involved with it, because there's different classes you can use, and there'll be different advantages for different classes depending on the map, which can be a little annoying sometimes, because there was one I started in a city and I brought in my sniper and there was a watchtower right there at the spawn, chucked her up there and she was killing it. It was really satisfying. Next map, I'm like, I'll bring my sniper again. Put them in, there's no watchtowers. There's nothing. They're just useless.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind if there was just like a recommendation for the mission of like, maybe focus on these or don't bring this. Because then it just kind of means I jump in, do a turn or two. I'm like, okay, this is just dumb. Jump back out, go back in. I've had to done that once or twice. It's not too bad, but
Yeah, because it's
give me a little bit of help game, because it can be really brutal. It can be quite challenging. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a game that came. Was it roughly like 2007 or 8 or it's around there? Its original release year on PS3, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because like back then, like a lot of games didn't do too much to ease you into it or help you really.
No.
As well, yeah.
And it does ease you in. Pardon me. Late dinner. And it does ease you in a lot of things, like any sort of JRPG. Like there is just like a lot of mechanics to learn, and it slowly gives it to you over time. Sometimes even too slowly. But for the most part, it is pretty good. And like I'm enjoying the story. It's kind of interesting, seeing the characters get more depth over time in the squad, learning about each other. And there is a lot of character building that I do really enjoy. And Alicia, for anyone who's played it, is just best girl. Like
I watched the anime. Yeah.
Yeah. There's an anime.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
because
did not know that.
Because I wanted to play it back before I had to play PS3, and I found out there was an anime, and that's when we were downloading anime all the time at school.
Right,
so I found out there's a Valkyria Chronicles anime. I'm like, yeah, it's fantastic.
I'm gonna have to watch it now then. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's pretty good.
Oh.
Sorry, bumped down your table there.
Yeah, no, Alicia is best girl. I will not let her die. I will fight for her until the end. Yeah. So yeah, that's mostly what I've been playing.
Yeah, and that game's quite often on sale, like for like 50% off. So it's like $13. Like it's like crazy cheap.
Yeah, and well worth it. I just decided to buy it for full price, which here in Australia was like 27 AUD.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, I'm very happy paying that. Like it's well worth it. Like, and there's several more games in the series now. The last one, Valkyria Chronicles 4, came out in 2018, so there's plenty more to dive into as well. Yeah.
So like, there's only the first one and the fourth one on Switch. The other two are they're still locked to PSP, I think.
Oh, really?
Right.
Yeah,
and they never came out of Japan either.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
sick. Just 1 and 4. I hope there's no story or character development.
I think they're all
probably different characters and stuff.
They're all like separate worlds,
Yeah.
like kind of like Final Fantasy. I think's the type of thing.
Right.
Fire Emblem type deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Bryce. What about you? You big old pork chop.
Well, the only thing I've really played that's new and noteworthy this week, well, not new in terms of release, but for me it was new, was A Hat in Time.
Oh, cool.
Oh, nice.
I've been meaning to get around to it for a while because it just fits every single bit of motif that is like Banjo-Kazooie 3D exploration platforming, having different hats and using different abilities and stuff like that. So I started that off and having a lot of fun with it, and the movement options that come with it as well, like traversing levels. I'm trying to sort of complete every world as I go, rather than, getting to the next one, then leaving, then coming back and doing it all after. So it's been good. I like how most of the game's pretty much voice acted, and I really don't know why the developer thought he wasn't going to bring this to Switch, because it's perfect for that. Yeah,
it's like just like looking at it, it's like, all right, why wouldn't you bring this to a Nintendo platform?
Yeah, because somebody asked him the question. He's like, ha, no, and it's just like, okay, but why wouldn't you? It's like literally perfect for the platform. And then eventually, I suppose he went and caved, and here it is, and pretty good thing you did do, because it's literally perfect for the console. I played it mostly in handheld, so it's just been a pick up, play, get a timepiece, and bugger off type of thing, and just do bit by bit. It's been really fun. I haven't gotten that far yet. It's sort of a work in prog. And it's just been my tide over until I get to Xenoblade. But Zelda was on the roster as well, but that's sort of just been a slow burn.
Still getting your seeds and all of that fun.
Actually, I think the next thing I'm going to do is probably Master Trials for that. Mainly because I went and got the Master Sword, and then a lot of people were saying that the beginner trials are actually the worst trials out of the lot of them.
All right.
So I'm trying to beat them. Like in Master Mode for some reason, for whatever reason it may be. It could just be because of the way weapons are balanced and stuff like that throughout the trials. Trying to beat the beginner trials is an absolute nightmare. And it's the one where you have to use the most variable ways to kill things. Because your weapons are mostly sticks and, traveler swords. Whereas like when you get to the middle tier, you start getting stuff that's like 26 damage points or whatever it may be. And then you get to the higher end and you get a few ancient arrows, which you can take out like the Lionel and all that stuff with. So yeah, from what I'm hearing, it's mostly just the beginner trials suck, and yeah, they do, because I tried it like for 3 hours the other night.
Oh boy.
You sound a bit over it when you talk about it. You're like, yeah, fucking, yeah, fuck.
I'm most people. There's so many people that literally just glitch out of the beginner trials and pass it. They're like,
that sounds alright. Do that.
I'm thinking about it because it sucks. Like 90% of trying to get through the beginner trials is bombing things until they die, and that's easier said than done. Like, because as the goblins go up in grades, they get smarter and know how to dodge bombs. So it's a pain in the ass, and then you have to try and trap him in a corner and keep him consistently smashed up against the wall. When I really could just walk up to the first camp, pick up the shield, walk at a wall, and then do a shield glitch through the wall, and then literally walk all the way to where the room is spawned for the last thing, kill the Hinox with a metal box, and piss off.
All right, so let's talk about Master Mode as a whole. Do you feel like they actually did a good job with how they put that into the game? Because what you're telling me right now does not sound like fun.
No, it's just a trial of the sword. The trial of the sword is made like that. It's made to be an absolute pain in the ass. On standard, it's easier. On Master Mode, the beginner trials are apparently the absolute worst of the lot, and there's no way you can really avoid that. Master Mode itself is crafted pretty well. It's very intimidating when you start off, and you do have to use a lot of environmentals if you want to make it through the plateau at a relatively decent pace. Blowing bokoblins into the water with a Korok leaf and stuff like that, or off the plateau in general, and then looting their camp chests so you've got a decent weapon to run around with and whatever. But it does balance itself out as you get off the plateau and pick up a couple of stronger weapons and stuff like that. And then I think a lot of it's micromanagement past that. Obviously, in the standard game, killing things is not too bad, but things in Master Mode are always a grade up from what they were in the normal game, and they have regenerating health. So you've really got to sort of probably hit the taluses, like mark off taluses as you find them, is what I do. I mark them off, and then every blood moon, I go through a cycle of them. I went and built Tarrytown straight away, and then every time the day, for a couple days, every time the day refreshes, I go back to the arrow shop, pick up a shit ton of arrows, and then I'll keep doing that until my stocks are completely full. And then that way...
Sounds like you're playing Animal Crossing.
Well, no, it's sort of to a degree, but if you pick up a couple of sledgehammers, which you get 2 of them in the plateau, you can take down taluses really quickly, because that's what they're weak to, is hammer weapons or blunt weapons in general. So yeah, you just go take them down, then you've got all the arrow stock you need. You just need to upkeep your bows and stuff. You can go grab the Hylian shield straight away, which obviously saves you a shit ton of time trying to find a decent shield. And then because you've got Tarrytown built, you can just go buy a new one when you run out of it. And as long as you keep that talus farm up, you'll never run out of a weapon, out of arrows or shields. And then it's just making sure you grab a couple bows when you see them, and when you grab a couple swords, you see them and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's not too bad. You're just got to be smarter about how you use your durability and all that. But the same thing as what most people are saying, as you get further on in the game and you pick up those weapons that are like 50 plus or whatever, it's much more negligible than you think it is. I think all the enemies might be up a grade and they might regenerate health, but you've got strong weapons, and those weapons are made to kill things quickly. even in master mode. So, yeah. It's not that bad.
Sounds like you've got a good strategy to win the Hunger Games anyway by all of that.
Oh, yeah. Just make sure I go and pick 5 durians from a tree and chuck them in a pot, and there you go. You got 20 gold hearts. Isn't that nice?
That is nice.
Don't even have to worry about it. The Hunger Games are nothing. I won't be hungry. I've got 20 gold hearts.
Ooh. Yeah. All right, Bryce, let's move into some news. Now.
Is that all?
I fight for my friends. My body is still.
All right, so not much news this week, guys, which is a nice pace to go at. We've had a fair bit of news the last month or so. So somehow it's still been coming out, but this one's from. Oh, this one's just a press release from Niantic for Pokemon Go Fest 2020. So what they say is save the dates on July 25th and 26th. Pokemon Go Fest 2020 will take place as an entity, entirely global event in a virtual format, which will allow trainers worldwide to participate from wherever they play. In another first, all ticket holders will be able to attend both days in this 2-day event. While we will miss the traditional congregation of Pokemon Go fans, we're thrilled to bring a special Pokemon Go Fest experience to trainers. Not only are you in for an exciting weekend of bonuses, Pokemon encounters, and special research, there will also be exciting ways to connect with each other and trainers and experience other fun surprises throughout the entire summer. So usually for these events, they hold them in a certain place. The very first one was in Chicago, and it was just like a complete disaster. I don't know if you remember that years ago.
It's terrible.
Since then, they've done a great job of holding these events, and usually for me, it's just like, the news comes out and see like a couple of YouTubers do some vlogs there. So that's all it is. But now, for the first time, because of can't leave the state borders or leave the house or whatever the situation of where you live is, they're sort of bringing it to everyone, which is good for me because I'm not going to travel to another country to go and play Pokemon Go. No matter how many shinies there are. But this one will be able to stick here. So we've got no prices or sort of any real information about what's going to be available during the Go Fest and all of that. But really, I'm quite keen to play it. I know, Seamus, you don't play it. Bryce, you...
What if the tickets are $40 each?
They'll be pushing it, but I don't know. It depends what's in it.
Yeah, because so they haven't really said what it's going to...
Don't fall for that trap.
what it's going to entail still, really. It's just the fact right now that it's going to be a digital event, yeah.
Yeah, so what would be the price you would pay for it then?
15.
15?
Yep, max. Australian dollars, not US.
See, I can't pull up how much the tickets were to actually do it before, but obviously it's like a physical location where they set up security and all of that type of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't have to do that. So if they're charging $40, they can stuff themselves.
They can stuff themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
But hopefully they're not.
Yeah.
So, and just another little bit of Pokemon Go news. So Zekrom is going to be available starting on the 16th of June.
Yay.
So, yeah, that'll be exciting. We went around catching Reshiram in Millicent, so that's exciting.
Did you get a Reshiram?
I did. I got a couple, actually, yeah.
Good. Yeah, I got one.
Yourself?
I got one. I'm good with my one. I'm good. I don't need any more than that.
So, Seamus, I assume you're going to be very excited about getting a Reshiram.
I would be, but Valkyria Chronicles is just taking up all my time. Otherwise, I'd be there.
You'll be right on top of it.
Yeah.
It's funny because apparently Reshiram's going to be, or is currently one of the best fire Pokemon in the game.
Well, that wouldn't surprise me. It's got a good moveset. It's high stat bonuses. I was thinking the other day, I'm just like, they wouldn't want to introduce the DNA splicers in this game because Jesus Christ.
Ooh.
Could you imagine how friggin' overrun raids would easily be? Just having white Kyurem and black Kyurem absolutely smashing anything that's weak against them.
Yeah, well, it will be in the game eventually because they've got to, keep you hyped. Go out in the real world, go to the main street and spin those Pokestops.
Yeah, it's going to be like a 20-step research task, and it's like catch 10 million Pokemon and some shit. So you better get ready and get catching, I guess.
Catch 10 million Pokemon.
Yeah, that's just one step, mate. All right, that's not even across all of them. That's just the one step.
Well, I'll complete it in a couple of days. Should be right.
They don't want people to absolutely destroy raids with that high base stat total.
No, they don't want that at all, Bryce. You're right, mate.
Talk down to me. Bitch.
Whoa. So next up is an article from My Nintendo News. The title is Saber CEO says that there's still untapped power in Nintendo Switch hardware. And his quote is that we're big fans of the Nintendo Switch and feel there is still a lot of great potential in the hardware and the platform. We have had enormous success so far, launching many titles on Switch and continuing to develop for the platform. We do feel there is more developers can get out of the Switch hardware, and we think fans will be surprised of the upcoming titles for it. So that was from Matthew Karch, the CEO and founder of Saber Interactive. So those guys, they were responsible for porting Witcher 3 to Nintendo Switch. So we know they've got a pretty good handle on the Switch hardware and getting the most out of it. So it's a pretty cool thing, especially even with Monolith Soft and with Xenoblade. Like it shows sort of the restrictions of what the Switch hardware can do, just with limiting its what's it called? Display pictures.
It's resolution.
Resolution. That's the word I was looking for. Pictures.
Display.
I got pictures, pixels. I got all this stuff going in my head. But limiting that just so it can push the big open world. So I guess it is kind of cool that we do know there's more to be pushed out the Switch.
Yeah, they should chat to Nintendo and the Xenoblade Chronicles team.
Yeah, they should. Maybe. But I think most of us are like, all right, we kind of just want a Switch Pro anyway, just to really get more out of it.
And look, I'm hoping it's in the pipeline because, goddamn, like imagine having that and then having updates to the games that we love, like Breath of the Wild. So they're running 60 frames per second. They have better draw distance. Oh, it'd be amazing.
Jeez, better clean up that mess after you leave, Bryce. Thank you very much.
No, I'm going to leave it on the floor. It's a nice white stain.
Oh, jeez.
Reminds you of what's to come.
I've got dark carpet as well. You realise how unfortunate that is for me?
Good luck cleaning it.
Do you feel like we'll get a Switch Pro in the next year or sometime, Seamus? Or?
They keep didn't they recently come out and say that did they just say they've got nothing to announce or that they aren't actively working on it?
I think it was like there's no new hardware this year.
Yeah,
I think that's what it was.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's a long time considering. But I guess maybe they, as everyone knows, there's new hardware coming from Xbox, Microsoft, and Sony PlayStation later this year. So maybe they're just biding their time. They've got a Switch Pro in the works and they want to avoid all the press and coverage that is going to be of those other consoles. And then come 2021, when it starts to ease up a little bit and the hype dies down slightly and the wars, the soldiers, keyboard soldiers go back to the weary...
Go back to their hole.
Go back to the hole. Then that might actually...
soldiers or gremlins.
or gremlins.
The same thing.
Then maybe that would make more sense to talk about it and announce it and release it next year. So maybe that's one of the reasons they don't want to really talk about it now. Yeah.
I couldn't think of a worse time to be like, all right, Switch Pro, it's coming out right next to new consoles. That is an awful idea.
Yeah, because as cool as that is, realistically, it's probably appealing to the most hardcore players, such as ourselves. Which is fine, like what they did with the Pro and Xbox One X, but compared to, a whole new console generation of PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X, it is just that bit more exciting, of course, and because there'll be launch lineups of a whole bunch of exclusives for them. So, yeah, it makes sense to leave it for now. Is it in the works? Like, most definitely.
Yeah.
I'm pretty certain their response for this whole thing, and I've said it before, is going to be a big hit game, and that's probably about it. Again, no new announced hardware this year. They've made note of that. I think what you're saying is probably on point about 2021. What I'm curious about though is whether it would just be more of a stationary form or whether it will try and stick as closely to this as possible, because I'm not too sure how much more they can pump out of that right now.
For reference, Bryce just lifted a Nintendo Switch normal, not a Lite.
Okay, yeah. Well, anyway, they're the same console. They're just a bit different. But anyway, my point being is I'm not sure how much they can pump out of that right now. Just in terms of that, they would have to wait for Nvidia tech to catch up.
They do have the second. What's the chip called again?
The Shield architecture.
Yeah, because when Switch came out, they were already on to the next chip that's currently in the Switch.
Yeah, but I don't think that was like an absolute dire improvement.
Yeah, I think it was just improvement on like battery drain and stuff like that.
Yeah,
which is what we're seeing out of the new Switch and the Switch Lite now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I think like what they've got to do from now on is wait for Nvidia to sort of come out with that hardware, because as we know, like most console generations have ran off AMD tech. So with the Switch working on Nvidia, I have a lot of faith that Nvidia will work something out for the Shield tech that can be translated to something that's more beefy for the Switch. But whether that's actually going to be in a Switch Pro rather than a sequel to that console is probably my bigger guess.
Yeah. I mean, just with how successful the Switch is, in the last financials, they stated that we are halfway through the Switch's life. Like, they actually said that. So I think they're going to try and prolong this thing as far as they can go, much like they did with 3DS and new 3DS.
As they should, It's a great console. It's just selling insanely well. Like, why wouldn't you? I would be hard pressed to know or think about how they're going to innovate do something better than the Switch, really, because the Switch to me is perfect in a lot of ways.
They're probably pretty scared because like when they came off the Wii, they're like, we're going pretty well. We sold 100 million of these things that came off, and we'll do a similar thing, but we'll put a bit of a different controller out there. They're just absolute flops. So I think moving from the Switch, they might be a bit timid to sort of move on from it because they know it can turn out poorly for them if they do a bit of a misstep.
Things can change pretty quickly. Yeah. It's interesting thinking about the Switch Lite actually, and possibly Switch Pro, is that I previously, before the Switch Lite, I would never thought they would do something that would be locked to one way of playing, which the Switch Lite did though, where it's only handheld. And when I think about the possibility of Pro and the fact that it's going to be more powerful, which means it's probably going to drain battery way quicker as well, it being handheld maybe just doesn't make that much sense. And considering it's also going to be for a more hardcore audience, maybe it makes sense that they do a version that is just like a console TV version. So it's you can play your Witcher, you can play your Zelda at 60 frames per second, etc. But it's only for dock.
A stationary console.
Yeah, stationary. Which now that this Lite has happened, that'd be kind of a cool way to like fill out the roster of having a Lite handheld, one in between, and one that's more stationary. And I'm sure each of them appeals to different groups of people. Yeah.
It just it makes me wonder, like, I don't think they want to be viewed anywhere near the same as the other two. Like, if it just becomes a box, they're instantly in the same, I guess, ballpark as the other two.
That's very true.
So I don't know. I would argue against that in saying that if they could find a way to create a good architecture between the box and the Switch Lite and normal Switch as a portable and box duo, where the cloud saves isn't as restrictive as it is. You could register both of them as your primary consoles rather than just being like, one of these is my primary console and one of them always has to be online. I think it's very possible that we could just see it, being its own infrastructure, and then you use the Switch as your portable thing and that at home. And then if you wanted to, you could maybe play the Pro on the TV, and then similar like you would if you were docking your Switch, you can move your progress over to your handheld one, put it in sleep mode, and then walk off with it. So you're still getting the benefits of like having a very, very pretty game on your TV, and then you're still like, whoops, I got to go out. I need to go get on my train. I would like to take it with me. So you hit a thing on the menu that says move to portable, and then it goes, whoop, sends the data, and then off you go.
So kind of like the PlayStation 4 and Vita, but a feature I would actually use.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So like a similar thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I think something that's come in very handy more than recently is Steam Link for me. And, to a degree, that also worked with... I can't remember what PlayStation version's called again.
PlayStation Now?
No.
Not the streaming one, the
one that streams from your console to your phone.
I know what you mean, yeah.
It's just like the PlayStation app does the...
Yeah, well, it does it anyway, yeah.
Oh, remote play, that's what you're looking for.
That's the one.
Yeah.
That was handy for a little bit with Persona 5 because I had like a little mount on my PlayStation controller and I could just click my phone in, go to bed and play.
Nice.
And it was good because it was an RPG. You don't have to worry too much about an RPG. It's turn-based, whatever. And that was nice, but there is restrictions to that still where I obviously can't, run down the street and take it with me.
How often do you run down the street?
Well, look.
While playing Persona 5.
Yeah, exactly. While playing Persona 5. Thank you very much.
Never, because it's not on the Switch.
Yeah, exactly. Atlas, do something about that, please. But anyway, that's handy. And I would love to see that, but obviously in a bigger form. And I think that's probably a good way to do it. And I think they could pull that off. Plus, we need something that's a little more permanent than that for the future for retro purposes. Well, not retro. We've already had this argument last week.
Yeah, that was last week, yeah.
Yeah. But, the Switch is not going to last the same way as other consoles will. Eventually, that's going to get old and that copper thing, that copper plate that's inside the Switch is not going to be enough to keep it cool.
Yeah, it's going to get worn that much quicker than,
yeah,
your home console, PS4 or Xbox One that just sits there all day. Yeah,
that's exactly right. So I feel like they need a more permanent solution, especially since a lot of people have now bought into the Switch and they would probably buy a Pro version, and the fact that, a lot of games are selling like hotcakes on the Switch, I feel like having that more permanent solution for longevity of the Switch's library is probably a good thing.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think Nintendo have the lineup. Like, I'm sure you could argue that they've always had the lineup, but more so now than ever. That if they were, like you were saying, Drew, competing with the big boys, of also running AAA games really well, they also have just an incredibly strong first-party lineup now. In addition to that, which some would probably say is stronger than Xbox's first-party lineup right now, or maybe even to some degree PlayStation's, because even though Mario is the main feature of all of them, there is quite a diverse lineup of first-party games. Mario's just very busy. He's doing parties, kart racing.
Oh, yeah, he's busy man.
Yeah, busy man. Nathan Drake, he hasn't done kart racing. He just shoots people.
That's a goddamn shame, I might add. Naughty Dog, it's like your only franchise. Maybe they're saving their kart racing for The Last of Us after Last of Us Part 2.
I hope so. No, everyone's getting hyped for Part 2, and I'm just here waiting for Last of Us kart racing.
Oh my god. Yeah, because I would quite like that stationary just box console as well, but I feel like it kind of mixes their messaging a bit. But in saying that, like we brought up before, that's what the Lite already does. It already breaks their messaging.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess it's a bit more in line with what the general messaging of Switch is, and it'd be a bit of a difference. But I think just the fact, like what Bryce was saying, just be able to like really take that idea of what Sony wanted to do with the PlayStation 4 and Vita, and just be able to take your games on the go. And maybe it is still those big AAA games like Witcher and stuff, and it's not gonna last as long because they're using up more battery power. But it's it's just an in between until you get home, and then cloud save across, and you keep playing on your TV, and
What I want to say is the very first trailer that shown us what the Switch was, the guy playing Breath of the Wild, he pauses it, goes up to the Switch, picks it up. He does the exact same thing as the exact same trailer. He pauses the game, he goes to pick it up. His wife comes in and just slaps him over the face. And he goes, all right, and then he just leaves because he can't pick it up. It's not portable.
It's not portable.
So it's like, no. Oh, all right.
Nintendo not very Switch.
It's like, well, I'm getting double the frames, but I can't take it with me.
Oh, it's just like they're just showing someone trying to do the snap, and there's just no noise.
Yeah, it's just like, why isn't it working? The Joy-Cons don't come off, man. There's no Joy-Cons on the side.
Well, that's what the Lite does anyway now, but yeah.
Well, yeah, I think in the end that is what the Lite's purpose almost was to gauge whether people would be interested in a one or the other product. And I think the Lite's done well enough that, you know what, you probably could release the other end and people probably would buy it. You know, a lot of people would have liked it, especially the people who loved a good library and love keeping their games on a shelf. They would absolutely love something that they can plonk in front of the TV, plug in, and never take away, and have less of a risk of breaking.
I might sort of view it more, not in line with a PlayStation or an Xbox, but I'll probably see it more in line with like an Apple TV or what PlayStation did with the PlayStation TV, which was just like a little tiny box that could play Vita games. Probably see it something like with the same power, just cheaper and tiny.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Yeah, that could be interesting. Yeah,
I'll probably see it like that.
Yeah, but the thing is, then that would completely devalue the point of that product already, because you might as well just use your Switch.
Yeah, but it'll be like a lot cheaper. It'll be like a third of the price because it's got no screen.
It would not be the third of a price, and you know it wouldn't be.
Probably not, but
no,
they could get it down to that without all the
cheaper.
parts going on.
Yeah.
It'd be $250 at the bare minimum in Australia. I can almost guarantee it.
Yeah, but that's still a fair bit cheaper.
Yeah, you can always guarantee we're going to get screwed over. Like that's just that's just a
You got to screw over Australia. You got to meet your margins so you can make it nice and cheap in the US.
Yeah.
My point though is, if Nintendo doesn't do it, Retron will.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I reckon,
they might get in trouble just for making a Switch while they're still selling it.
Yeah, but my point is that, you know, if they don't do it while the Switch is still sort of manufacturing, Retron will probably end up doing it.
That'd be cool though. I'm still waiting for that Game Boy they announced late last year.
Yeah,
man, I really want that thing.
Yeah.
Be
Well,
nice.
and I guess although an important point is just what would their focus be, something like that, or whether it's just a more improved normal Nintendo Switch. Because honestly, if they did just announce, like even the latest Nintendo Switch where the battery power was just a little bit better, I was tempted.
Yeah,
and I was real tempted. And the thing is, if they just release next year like an advanced improved version that had better battery life, slightly better performance, and a personal request, Bluetooth, so I can use
wouldn't that be a
friggin' Bluetooth headphones?
Yeah.
Jesus, that's Even if it just had that, I would actually almost just trade in, because like I almost exclusively use Bluetooth headsets. Yeah,
like such a novelty in 2020 having a device that has Bluetooth, wouldn't it? Just be revolutionary.
So yeah, I guess it sort of depends on what they want their focus to be. Really, I could see them going both ways or doing both. Really, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
We should have just hit the rec room button on this conversation.
Because this sort of just became the topic of the show.
We'll go into the other one we discussed a little bit after, I think.
No.
So we've got one more news story, and this is just a real quick one. So this is from My Nintendo Life, and the title is "Impressive Aerial Shot of Super Nintendo World's Construction Services Online." Have you guys seen this photo?
I have.
I think we all have.
Yeah. So over the past year or so, we've been seeing small cheeky glimpses at what Super Nintendo World will have an offer in the form of elite concept models and long-distance photographs. But this new shot is perhaps the best of the lot. As you may know, the theme park situated in Universal Studios Japan was originally planned to open just in time for this year's Tokyo Olympic Games. It's currently unclear how the coronavirus pandemic may have affected the park's construction, but it sure seems to be coming along nicely. Get a load of this juicy photograph courtesy of Instagram user Imako02. So obviously podcast, you can't see it, but if you've seen it sort of going through Twitter and all that throughout the week, you'll see that it's just real colourful and it looks really cool. I really want to go to this place. Sort of with that first trailer, which sort of shown what the whole thing about the park was, where you wear the bands and you go around earning coins and that. So
is that the one with the original song and they're all dancing through the park?
Yes,
and
it
stuff?
is.
God, that was so painful and cringy personally.
Really?
But yeah. For me.
I can't really remember it, but I just remember like the idea of just going to like I guess, you know, because everyone loves Disneyland and that, but I'm not like super invested into Disney IP.
Likewise, yeah.
But going to like a Nintendo world, I'm like, oh,
Yeah, I wasn't saying the idea
That'll
of
bring out my kid.
Nintendo World is cringy or the bands and stuff. It was just that trailer for me personally. Yeah.
it probably like I can't really remember. I just remember it being colourful. I'm like, oh, cool.
Also, I feel like that Instagram user who took that picture missed out on a huge opportunity to just change their username real quickly to Mario Slong or just something like that, because we've just been reported in all these news articles. Instead, it's just a normal thing, but you know.
We got this picture from Mario Schlong.
Instagram
You can
user.
find it on Instagram.
Maybe they wouldn't have got a shout out because it was such a crude name in the
It would have here, Drew. I would hope. I know it would have.
No, well, yeah. I would have just been Googling Mario Schlong like I do on my weekly Google search for Mario's body parts, and I would have come across it that way. But it's not the case. So, yeah. Bryce, are we going to Universal Studios, Seamus? Are we going to Japan anytime soon?
Yeah, what city is it based in? The park, sorry?
It doesn't actually say what city. Universal Studios Japan. No, it doesn't tell me here. I can look it up.
Well, regardless, it's just another reason to go to Japan. And I've been once before, and I can't wait to go again, especially with my partner who's never been and really wants to go to Japan. And
I want to go.
Yeah, like there's a million reasons to go to Japan. Lots of awesome things to do. Like there's a Studio Ghibli museum. Well, not museum, park going to be opening up as well. And, you know, this is as well. Like, yeah, I'll go along to the Nintendo Land Park for sure. That'd be a fun as fuck day. Like, yeah, I'd love, yeah. Go around with the Yoshis and jump on things and
Pat the Yoshis is like a goat with a hat on.
that'll be 70,000 yen. Thank you.
A goat just with like a big long tongue and yeah. We'll have a competition. Who can get the most coins? Just go around kicking everything. Just like kicking the guy in front of the ride, like, just get your coins, and he's like, you know, pushes you away. It's like, oh, checking your watch. Like, no, it doesn't. No, keep going.
Maybe this is just the pitch for the Australian version of Nintendo Land up in the Sunshine Coast.
Actually, no, don't have to do a pitch. We'll start it ourselves, Bryce. Super Nintendo World, at the House of Mario. This is my dog, who is actually Yoshi.
Yeah, the inspiration for Yoshi.
Yeah. Miyamoto actually saw the dog, which is only a year old, and that was the inspiration for the lovable green dinosaur in Mario World.
On your Instagram account, Mario's huge slong.
Yeah. See, we'll see if that's taken. All right, guys. So that's the end of the news. Would you guys? We talked about it before, but would you guys like to discuss the PS4 reveal not the PS4 reveal, that's been out for a while.
Come on, Drew.
Yeah, get your shit together, Drew. Jesus Christ. The PS5 reveal at the end of the week and how it might tie into what Nintendo's doing throughout the year. Do we want to talk about that? Or, well, I've said it now, so you're going to have to, aren't you?
Look, I think we could talk about it a bit more. Like, we talked about the Pro and the possibilities of being the Pro, but, you know, if anybody has ideas on the response that Nintendo is going to have in terms of end-of-year stuff, I already know what I want to say, so...
Well, that's fantastic.
Well, you guys do too.
Well, you get the ball rolling, Bryce.
Yeah, put your shoes on. Let's move on over to
the thing.
Oh, here we go.
Hi, Nintendo fans. Reggie here. Thank you for your never-ending support.
I love this.
For giving me a mushroom kingdom full of incredible memories that I will never forget. Ever.
Love you, Reggie. Thank you very much for that kind introduction.
Thanks, mate. I really wanted that beer.
Such a nice man. And do you see on his podcast he had Phil Spencer?
Yes, he did.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he's this week he's got Jeff Keighley on.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Now we need to get him on here.
Yeah, that's right. Reggie, if you
We
like,
can introduce Reggie to his other Reggie in the rec room.
anyone out there who listens to this podcast, remember how we said you can clip out parts of the podcast. Clip out this and send it to your good old friend Reggie. At Reggie. He got that somehow. Good on him.
Oh, yeah, he had to contact Twitter for that, I believe. Yeah. He got it.
Just contact Twitter. So, yeah, look up in the air. There's a blue bird. Excuse me, sir. Can I have the tag Reggie? And then he said, yes.
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 Also, I didn't know Reggie had a podcast.
He does.
He just started one recently.
Oh, really? What's it about? Like just game industry interviews or biz and stuff?
So he does one with Harold. I forgot the organisation because it's not up in front of me. But he's doing a fundraiser for homeless kids in New York. Yeah, so it's a good cause and everything. So if anyone's interested, I'll put links in the show notes like I have the last couple of episodes. Go and check it out. Listen to his podcast. Donate if you feel inclined to help out some people in need. Yeah. So let's talk about some PlayStation. You know, PlayStation here in the House of Mario, it's a bit of a dirty word, isn't it? It's a bit like I've got a PS4 over there, got a PS4 Pro in the
PSVR right there.
Yeah, PSVR. I've got a PS Vita in the cupboard. Like, you know, PlayStation's more than welcome in the House of Mario, but saying it out loud, it's a bit of a. No, we're not Operation PlayStation. We're not any of these podcasts out there, but here we are. So PS5 is supposedly getting full blown Friday as of recording this.
Proper full reveal, even though we've gone trickled a bunch of weird information over the last several months, but leading up to this big moment.
It sort of sounds like it's mainly going to be focused on games, which is kind of disappointing because I want to see the actual hardware itself. So hopefully
you want to see the box.
I want to see the box.
I reckon you probably will see the box still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be very disappointed if I didn't see that shiny, glistening box.
Just wonderful. I really wish we could have just captured that glow in Seamus' eye as he looked into my eyes, and it was just a real
glistening
real
box.
So, I guess do we see Nintendo trying to compete with them this year, or just doing what they're doing, just releasing games?
I just see them walking over to wherever Sony's headquarters are and just handing over the deeds to Nintendo and just surrendering as soon as the PlayStation 5 is revealed. Giving
up. Yeah.
I'm sure Nintendo's going to have plenty to respond. It feels like they've sort of been holding back on a lot of news so far, and probably a lot of the games for this year. You know, I was looking at upcoming releases just today, and like the fact that Paper Mario is now coming out next month, like a month and a half away, and it was only announced like last month. It's like only like a 2 month or so period from announcing what is going to be a pretty big game for Nintendo this year, and looks fantastic as well. So I'm sure they've got plenty more up their sleeves to come.
Yeah, because Bryce and I have talked about it a bit, and I think what their big game this year is going to be that Mario collection. How it's going to come out, I don't know if it's going to be like a full remaster or just like re-releases or whatever, but I think that's going to be their main focus. I think Bryce has changed his tune on Breath of the Wild 2. Probably not going to be this year, but you know, obviously that would be the ideal. Like, all right, this is our big game.
Yeah.
To take eyes away from maybe some competitors or launch lineups for the other two consoles, but.
Yeah. I think, being so close to Christmas when these consoles are probably coming out, you know, it's always seems to be that sweet spot at the end of the year where, you know, kids are like, Mom, I want this for Christmas. And
that's just you. You're like, Mom, Bryce, you bloody 26 by yourself, you bloody bastard. Get out of the house. I'm sick of seeing you.
Mom, I want my console, Mom. Anyway,
want the Switch?
I think, it is going to come down to just a big game release for them this year, and before coronavirus and everything happened, I was pretty dead set that was going to be Breath of the Wild 2, mainly because they've been working on it since the first one. It's been 3 years now. They've already confirmed they're reusing a lot of assets. It just seemed to make sense. And having something like that on the table, something that's like a big adventure that lasts a couple hundred hours, and it'll, you know, get people thinking, do I really need to spend $700 or so, which is what I'm assuming the price will be.
In AUD, of course.
Yeah. On a new console right now, just before Christmas, or I can just buy this and this will keep me tided over. And you know what? I think that probably would have been an excellent business strategy. However, because of the things that have happened, I don't think that they will be ready to push it out in time now.
I think that's very good points, and it's definitely been disruptive for many industries, including the games industry. But yeah, I guess by the end of this year, we'll have been 3.5 years since Breath of the Wild came out, which is a reasonable amount of time, especially considering they're using the same engine, probably going to be reusing a lot of assets.
They're reusing Hyrule.
Right, and so I think that's actually still a pretty strong possibility. And it's been interesting hearing from game publishers and studios over the last couple of months, and many of them saying the transition to working remotely has been not too bad, although this is still the starting, still first month or two of it. So after several months of it, if this continues, it could possibly start seeing people get a lot more unproductive over time, and certain issues start to arise more because it's easier to address short-term things over a month or two, but after several months, it probably could get a bit harder. But from what I've heard, it hasn't disrupted too many production timelines for studios, but you never know. You never know what critical things are being held back, such as being able to do animation, motion capture and voice acting and elements like that. So yeah, you never know. I think it's still a good chance, and that makes a lot of sense. That just seems like a really good spot for it. Although like the remastered collection of Mario games would be really cool, I just don't see that being like the main holiday title game for Nintendo for a year. I see that as being like an awesome title throughout the year. Maybe in the third quarter along the way, but yeah, I just feel like they need something really big, like a Smash Bros.
Another one
of that caliber, like Breath of the Wild 2. Yeah.
I think the problem that Breath of the Wild 2 has probably got on its back though is that there's no E3 this year. And it feels like something, historically, anything that's like brand new Mario or brand new Zelda, that's the type of thing that they want to be like, bam, big show floor, you want to see the lights, the flash, but it's not going to happen this year. So whether they make that decision based on like, well, we'll sideline it for now, try to pump out the smaller stuff to keep our financials going up until the end of the year, or whether it is finished or whether it is done, but we haven't got any concrete news onto whether there is going to be like a decent lineup for the rest of the year, because Paper Mario got shadow dropped like out of nowhere, and it was only like a couple months before release, and I'm sure they've got plans in the back end somewhere, but I just feel like with something like Breath of the Wild 2, they'll want a lot of press coverage in order for it to, sort of catch the attention of everybody. And they're like, oh, yes, those of us that love Breath of the Wild, I'm 100% certain we're going to buy it. And I feel like it's going to address a lot of the issues that people had with the first game, whether that be like lack of story, whatever it may be. And they'll address that, and it'll become more of a story-based game, and more with dungeons, traditional dungeons that people want and stuff like that. But because they would have been designing those things. They've taken a lot of ideas from what I understand, because they were really disappointed that even in one of the what was it, Making a Champion? I think it was Making a Champion, the book that they released after Breath of the Wild. They had a lot of old concepts that they wanted to do with Link, whether it would be like a morphing hand into like an arm cannon for bombs and stuff like that, which lines up in sync with the trailer. So I feel like that's what they're going to do. But it's a lot of assets like that they seem to really want to implement and make work in the sequel. So whether that's something that they have to sit together as a team and make sure that meshes well with the world, and whatever that may be. Coronavirus sort of impacted that. Japan wasn't out of action very long.
Yeah, they put off going into lockdown, and have, for the most part, most people, from what I've heard, have still been going to work in the offices. So it's probably, of all countries, Japan's probably been one of the least effective work-wise because of it.
Yeah, but I think like Nintendo America, that got impacted a lot.
Yeah.
And from what, just like coronavirus actually being in, like going into the offices, and like what you said before about like the voice acting and stuff, like that's probably a big task for that game as well.
Yeah.
So it might even get delayed on the English translation side of things.
Yeah,
than just
let alone. Yeah.
And like this is just a joke, but just like what Nintendo services are like, it's like them trying to work over Skype or whatever. It's like probably wouldn't even work trying to transfer stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, you think it's bad playing our games, imagine making them like
trying to move like assets of Mario Kart from person to person. It's like, yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, and it could be the case that they want to avoid, like we mentioned earlier in the show, they want to avoid all the news that's going to be happening later this year with new consoles, and just focus on the more niche games. They're going to have more niche audiences, like Paper Mario, for example, and leave A Breath of the Wild until early next year, etc. And it sounds like they'll probably they'll have. There's a lot of rumors of several games like the Mario Collection coming this year anyway, and they'll probably have more things to shadow drop. So it seems like there'll be plenty of exciting first party Nintendo games to check out over the year as it is, and maybe it's just a bit more of a quiet one, which it's been pretty crazy since the Nintendo Switch launch.
Yeah.
Like they've kept up the pace of games quite impressively.
It wouldn't be criminal if they were quiet this year. Like they've done a pretty good job consistently over the last 3 years. So it wouldn't be surprising if we saw nothing at all. But whether I think the question is whether coronavirus and everything else that's happening in the world has impacted a lot of these games that we know are on the back end, whether it be like Bayonetta 3 or Metroid Prime 4 or Breath of the Wild 2 or I don't know, probably some random Mario sports game, which is hopefully Strikers, but we can fucking live to dream.
Please.
Just thinking about stuff like that.
Salivate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thinking of stuff like that is like, how much has that been set back? Like, if it has been set back at all. But they're very quiet at this time, so we don't really know. They're arguably the most quiet out of the bunch because the other two have to promote consoles at the moment and really make it push forward.
I really hope they're quiet because they're just so busy and putting so much time into making amazing DLC for Mario Party.
I was actually going to very much agree with that sentiment until you said DLC for Mario Party. And then I was like, oh, well.
It's all I want. I love that game so much, but I've done the mini game so many times. I need just another couple more maps, a few dozen more mini games, just please. It's so gosh.
Yeah, I know. It's like in the top 10.
Yeah.
Best-selling Mario Party ever. It's like, fuck it. We won't support it.
We give DLC for every other game. Toad Treasures Tracker gets new DLC. I love that game, don't get me wrong. Freaking Mario Tennis gets how many new bloody tennis players?
That fucking game.
They still seem to come out as well. It's like what?
Yeah. People are still playing Mario Tennis? Shit. Didn't last very long for us.
No,
didn't last long for anyone that we know.
I dropped off pretty quick with it.
There's a bit of hype going into it too.
Yeah.
But coming out of it, it's just like, all right, well, that's
it's still better than Ultra Smash.
Oh, well.
I don't think anything could, be worse than what Ultra Smash was, but still.
A flat football's better than Ultra Smash. It's just like, it's not hard. That game was just like, want to play tennis, but
ultra flat.
You can get big every now and again. That's what that game literally was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, actually.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, the new Mario Tennis game was really good, although it's probably the single player campaign I have raged in the most in the past several years. Like, it was ridiculous.
I think that's honestly what let it down.
Yeah. Yeah. I wanted to keep playing it, but I was like, F this. Like, I just didn't want to replay these boss fights, like, so many times. And sometimes it would take like half an hour plus, like the matches will go for it, and I'm just like, I just don't have the energy to keep up this pace. Like,
it got pretty hard. Like, it was pretty unnecessary how hard it got and how quick it got hard. Yeah.
Even just Spike in the first couple of past the first couple of levels, even he was just an asshole. Like, I don't know why he was such an asshole. He just was.
I can imagine like you having a quote on Metacritic for Mario Tennis.
Spike is such an asshole. Bryce DeWitt, co-host of the House of Mario.
Yeah, so like we've got a fair bit of stuff this month coming in June. So we've got an ARMS character coming to Super Smash Bros. That's gonna drop any time. Probably maybe a cell phone video from Sakurai explaining what's going on.
Just cracking jokes every left, right, and center.
Yeah, that is actually pretty funny.
I do enjoy them. Yeah,
I enjoy them too. And we got Pokemon DLC coming out as well.
True. I have forgotten about that.
Which is adding a bunch of new moves and new Gigantamax forms.
New area to explore. Yeah.
I still need to buy for both of those.
I haven't either. Yeah.
I bought it straight away because that's like I knew that is exactly what I wanted them to do. and they did it, so they got my money.
Yeah, I mean, for both cases, like obviously, big Smash Bros fan here, and I agree with the sentiment on having the extra content through DLC rather than a third version on Pokemon. So, it was like, well, I'm going to buy that, but I think because of the coronavirus and everything, they've kind of just gone under the radar for me, and I've not thought about it up until now.
Yeah,
when you've actually said it that they're coming this month.
Yeah.
Like, shit.
It's in the back of my mind too, but yeah, I just remembered it like coming on now.
Yeah.
Because to be honest, like Smash DLC and Pokemon DLC, that's like that's what I'm after. I don't need a brand new game even necessarily.
Straight up,
yeah.
Even Zelda DLC was a straight up buy for me because it was like, more Breath of the Wild content? Sign me up.
Just what we need, more of that fucking huge game.
Yeah.
Be like Witcher DLC. It's
something to distract us from hunting Hestu shit, essentially. Yeah.
Rest in peace, Mario Party DLC.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting it.
We played one match of Mario Party before we did the podcast episode on Mario Party, and it was the most fucking rigged match of Mario Party I've ever played.
Couldn't believe it.
Wario moved. We played a 10-turn match. Wario moved a whole total of 6 squares the entire match because he kept getting sent back to the start.
Wow.
And he fucking won.
He won all the bonus stars.
He won every single bonus star and won. And then I was like, well, I'm not fucking buying this game.
Okay.
Didn't you buy it?
No, I did not buy it because I was like, that is bullshit.
Okay,
Put you off the whole thing.
One, that is amazing.
It really was.
It was incredible.
And two, I feel like every Mario Party game is rigged.
Of course it is.
But like that's crazy.
That was beyond rigged. He did not win a single mini game.
He just move the least amount of spaces. Wario, here's a star.
Collected the least amount of coins. Wario,
I didn't
here's
even
a
know
star.
they would give awards for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
He just got
normally it's the move the most or got the most coins. Yeah.
it was just like all 3 of them were like do the least, and that was what he did, and he won.
That's like the ultimate participation award for like if a kid's just screwed up.
Participation to the point you win.
You win, and it's like, but I did nothing. You won.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Nah. That was the first round of Mario Party I played of Super Mario Party, and then after that happened, I was like, no, I'm not buying this game. Not if that shit happens. Like Mario, like board games enough. Man.
I really want to see your Metacritic page. Just like Super Mario Party. Wario's a prick.
But why the fuck would you program a game to be like, you did literally nothing and came fourth in like every single mini game, but somehow still won. So what? He would have got least coins collected.
Because it's Mario Party, that's why.
Least spaces moved and most lost mini games.
All right, so you're not impressed with the game. How would you improve it through the DLC Seamus so desperately wants?
Please, Bryce.
Well, first of all, more boards. I think that's an absolute must because there was only a few from what I remember.
I think it's just 4 in total, one of which you unlock as you play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then some of the more classic minigames sort of coming back.
That would be cool.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
I think there is a lot of fan favorite Mario Party minigames that everybody's just
the
like,
problem is like they did that with the 3DS Mario Party. I forgot what they called it, but they brought it was like a collection of all of the most popular
Mario Party Top 100.
Top 100, yes.
Yeah.
So that would have been like when they announced that, it's like, oh, seriously, bring that to Switch.
Yeah.
Because it had like all like the classic ones, like people remember from like 64, GameCube.
That would be perfect. That'd be such good DLC. Like,
yeah. I would like to see that in that. And then the other thing is, I suppose, is just maybe just as a general update, make it so that somebody just can't win by doing absolutely nothing in game.
Yeah, but it is funny though, because it
was funny. I'm not denying it was funny, but we were in head-to-head competition. It was like brazen. There was us and the CPU. We were all going head-to-head, absolutely smashing it, putting in our best, and then Wario just got fucking everything in the end and won. And it was just like, well, fuck that. Like, that doesn't make me feel any better. Imagine if like this game was based on progression of winning games. And like you would unlock a new board for like coming first in a round of Mario Party, and then something like that happens after wasting 10 to 20 turns, so like a 30-minute, 45-minute match. after going your absolute hardest, playing the best you can in every single mini game, and then that shit happens. Like, fuck that. No way.
Yeah, so, Sony, look out. If Nintendo releases Mario Party DLC, I think...
PS5 is going to be nothing.
No, I tell you what, Sony will just respond with PlayStation All-Stars Board Game Royale, and then... it'd be.
Well, I want that.
Yeah, I want that real bad.
Then we get
the same thing all over again.
Getting our ass kicked by Kratos. It's like, oh, come on, he didn't even move.
Kratos just like he's just like the only character in the game that has the ability to use a move that kills everyone, like just like Battle Royale, just like hit a button as Kratos and you'll pretty much win. It doesn't matter how many how many fucking bars you've got, you win.
No matter how many bars.
You fucking did.
Yeah.
You remember the balance of that game. You can't tell me you don't remember the balance of that game.
Oh, it's good balance.
Seamus, the balance of that game.
It was interesting.
Interesting? It wasn't balanced.
It was not balanced.
No.
I remember the lead up to that game, just really hoping Kat from Gravity Rush was going to be in it.
And she was.
And she was in DLC after no one gave a shit about the game anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because it was unbalanced and it wasn't managed.
Yeah. Unlike, all the past Smash Bros games, they'll bounce to a T.
I'm not saying they were.
Melee.
I mean, Melee literally exists off a community that likes a glitch. Like, literally, that is Melee in a nutshell. So, I'm not saying Smash is any better, but the difference between that and Battle Royale was like everything is about super moves, and there are just characters that have shit super moves that they won't fix. So they're immediately unviable.
Guys, why does it matter? Smash Bros didn't even make it into Evo this year.
You're talking about Melee?
By all of it.
Yeah.
Doesn't have strong enough netcode to run online.
Oh
to
yeah.
compete. Yeah.
All-Stars.
Which
All-Stars
we all know. We all know that's fucking bullshit. We all know that's fucking bullshit that, Smash has that bad a netcode that happens. Mind you, the biggest Smash tournament has happened over the last 2 weeks. The biggest Smash tournament that's ever been held.
Oh, really?
In terms of entry. Yep.
All right.
Was
it in person or?
No. Online. The Soak Series Invitational by Critical.
Okay.
Yeah, Critical ran his own.
Cool.
And it had 4,000. He set 2 records. He had 4,000 participants enter, and he had the most banned participants in a day, which was 2,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
2,000.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Buddy Sakurai would have been fanning those servers at HQ. Holy shit. He's like, we need to up this price from, to $40 or something. Jesus.
And I mean, this was all from the guy that was like, "What's up, everybody? It's Critical.
Oh, yeah.
I'm playing Bear Simulator 2015. Let's do this shit." This is from that guy. He went and held a big old tourney, and it just exploded. And it was co-hosted by Alpharad. Biggest Smash tourney that's come up.
Wow.
Oh, cool. I hadn't even heard about it, to be honest.
Same.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I didn't either until, I sort of read about it the other day. It was just the biggest online invitational that they've done. And, I guess, when you've only got a select amount of people that turn up for Evo and stuff like that, I suppose it's just anybody could chuck their entry online. So they just went and did it.
Cool.
Yeah,
I have
nice.
to look into that more, yeah.
Yeah, we should have competed, Bryce.
I would have, but, most of those people would have been stateside. So imagine the lag.
Yeah, I was joking. I'll get my ass kicked. Like, so bad. I wouldn't be leaving my house.
I watched the Mario combo actually in the highlight video that he put out. It was like an hour and 30 minutes long or something.
That's a big combo.
No. Yeah. Hour and 30 minutes Mario combo.
It's
A
like,
million%.
stop juggling me.
Oh, it was a dirty Mario combo, but unfortunately it did not end in a kill, but it was just absolutely nuts. I think he did 70%. And then he went to do the final, forward aerial A. It went bang, hit the stage floor instead of going off the edge. It was so close, but my God, it was so clean. I'd never seen a cleaner Mario combo. You need to work on your moves, boy.
Like I said, I'll get my ass kicked, don't you? Yeah. Anyway, as far as the Mario Party stuff, I guess they can talk about it over on a Platinum Explosion that Mario Party's coming for the PS5 this week. So
No, God, I don't know how many times I have to say it again. It's PlayStation All-Stars board game royale. Yeah, there you go. PlayStation All-Stars board game royale. That's what's coming on the PlayStation.
I can't wait. I'm getting an Xbox, I think.
I've changed my mind.
Yeah, I changed my mind right then. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for listening to the House of Mario episode 144. If you like the show, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or go to the website and share us via Recasts, where you can share us on social media via a little clip. And Bryce, how did you do that with your glasses without touching them? Wow, that was.
I am incredible, and I'm glad I distracted you from your message.
You did. I wish people could see that.
It's just simple. It's just like...
Just lifted his forehead and his glasses lifted with it.
Yeah.
So you can find me on Twitter at iDruby. You can find the show at the House of Mario. Seamus, if someone was looking for you, where could they find you?
Well, my address is 183. Oh, what you mean online thing? Right.
Do you keep your windows open? Do you lock your back door?
You know.
Do you hide your kids? Do you hide your wife?
I don't have kids, so yes.
Do you hide your wife? Do you hide your husband?
I go now, guys.
They're looking for everyone out here.
You can find me on Twitter at Seamus Mullins. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Bryce, what about you, my friend?
And I've been Revan.
And you can find an invite to our Discord server in the show notes below. I always say below, but it really isn't below on a podcast. I guess on some apps it is. Sometimes you just swipe to notes and it comes up that way. So it's like on top of it, really.
Yeah.
Remember the old additive of YouTubers like going through that transition of like down the bottom from like what was it, the sidebar? It's like, oh, you can click the links in the sidebar, and then all of a sudden, you know, you look back on those videos these days, it's like you can click the links in the sidebar. It's like, oh well, yeah.
You're just pointing to like other videos
fucking-
on other channels.
It's just like, oh.
Look at this.
That was their plan all along.
Look at this other content creator. I'll click on. It's pretty sad, actually. That's a bit sad. Yeah. And thank you very much to our very first Patreon producer, Luke. Thank you very much for your support over on Patreon. And
Absolutely.
thank you very much. I can't say much more than that. Very
legend.
much
Yeah.
appreciated.
100%.
And this week's Nintendo Jukebox is the Luigi's Mansion theme, in brackets, from Luigi's Mansion. And it's by the big...
expecting something a lot more extravagant than that.
I like I saw the Luigi's Mansion theme from Luigi's Mansion.
I thought
man.
it was going to be like Luigi's Mansion in brackets lo-fi hip hop mega mix or some shit.
No, because it is from the 8-bit Big Band, which is really cool. Does really nice renditions of video game music. So, until next week, the doors to the House of Mario are closed. I've got it real quiet. That's embarrassing. There we go. The door gets jammed sometimes. You know what I mean? All right, guys. Catch you later.